Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create the folded animation and that we're going to use for the product sizes. So start off by creating a cube and click over here to make it editable and make our size 2256 10 mil deep and 3300. So it's a brochure that I'm going to be creating here. So that's one. And that's going to be the back page. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it once and twice. So this will be the front cover, and we'll use this one for the inside. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to take the cover. I'm just going to raise it slightly by say 5 mil, because otherwise when we apply a texture to it we won't be able to see it if it's at the same depth as everything else. So we've got our three objects here. So the first one, we are going to take this guy. I'm going to change its axis, so it's local axis or object axis. So we click on this icon here and I'm going to move this guy over here to half of 2256, which is 1128 millimeters. Now if I go back to world axis tool and click rotate, you'll see now that that's the hinge point for that particular object. Okay. Now if I select my next object inside, select the object axis tool and make sure I'm on the move tool, and move this one over here to 1128, and you can see this now is moving that direction. Okay, so we have our hinges set up, or our folds set up, and the next thing we're going to do is animate them. So if I click on the cover, because it's the first one that's going to open up obviously, and this is our timeline, so from 0 to 90 seconds. If I want, I can edit this. Just go edit menu and project settings. I can change my frame rate, starting frame, maximum frame. So I'm just going to leave it at 90 seconds for now. So select the cover. On the first frame, add a keyframe. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my timeline to 90 seconds. I'm going to position the cover at the angle that I want it to, so 180. I'm going to add a keyframe here. So now the cover animates. So next thing we need to do is animate the inside page. So the inside page should only open when the cover is about here, because if we open it any sooner it'll start to cut through the cover itself. So I'll just move it up to 40 seconds. So select the inside and add a keyframe, move the timeline to the last frame, and then position this where we want it to be, which is 180 degrees again, and add our keyframe. So that animates our book, and it seems to be okay. Just check, doesn't cut through ever so slightly, but I think that's okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is put in our camera. So up here I'm going to use a target camera. So I'll just position this out here. I'll change my scene to view all four angles. So top, there's the front of my scene, and this is the right. Okay, so if I go up here now, camera, scene cameras, and camera. So I'm now looking through this camera. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to set up my first starting frame, and I'll put it there. Okay, looks good. So on frame 0, with my camera selected, add a keyframe, and now I'll go to the end of the animation, and I can either move in this window here and maybe zoom out a little bit. Okay, and click on the camera and click on keyframe. So you can actually see that we're moving out a little bit just because of the way the brochure opens up. It just makes it a bit handier for us to see everything, and I think that's okay. Okay, so next thing we need to do is turn on the Sketch and Tune plugin. So click on this, click Effects, Post Effect, and add Sketch and Tune. And if I just go and render, we have this kind of sketched type style. So I'm just going to change some of the settings here. Sketch and Tune and shading, and change it to custom color and use white. So it just fills with white. So what we want to do now is, instead of rendering a single frame, we want to render all frames. So output, change frame to all frames, 0 to 90. Save, click Save Image and choose a path. So I'm just going to put this on my desktop, and I'll call it Tweak Fold Movie. Save, replace. Format, change it to QuickTime Movie. And just go back to output and check 320 by 240. We'll just make it a little bit bigger for previewing. So 640 by 480 is okay. Close that. Render. Do I want to overwrite? Yes. And that's just going to take a second, so I'll pause this and we'll come back when it's finished. So that's finished rendering. I'm just going to go to my desktop here and open up this guy here and play. And that's our animation. And that's as simple as it is.